Almost there, girl. Would you look at that?
The coldest blizzard of the year arrived without warning, covering the forest in snow and ice.
The wind howled across the mountains, shaking the small wooden cabin where Daniel lived alone. Inside, the fire burned quietly, but the storm outside sounded stronger than any he had heard before. Inside, the fire burned quietly, but the storm outside sounded stronger than any he had heard before. Inside, the fire burned quietly, but the storm outside sounded stronger than any he had heard before. Then suddenly, he heard something near the door. A slow, scratching sound. Not the wind, not the snow. Something else.
It was already Dougal of the world. Daniel stood up carefully and walked toward the door, listening.
When he opened it, the freezing wind rushed inside. It didn't bark. It didn't run. It only stared at him.
Before we continue, subscribe to Frozen Wild Stories for more adventures from the coldest places on Earth.
But the dog stood up again and started scratching at the door.
It ran into the storm, then stopped and looked back at him.
Something told Daniel to follow. It wasn't a voice, more like a tug in the air. So he did, and it led him somewhere he never expected.
Then he saw something under the snow, a broken sled.
Memories. The storm was freezing, but the dog kept leading him deeper into the snow.
Beside it, a man lay frozen, barely alive.
Neil pulled him onto the sled and dragged him back through the storm.
Hours later, the stranger opened his eyes near the fire.
The dog saved his life that night, and in the coldest blizzard, that made all the difference. Subscribe to Frozen Wild Stories and watch the next Frozen Wilderness story on the screen now.